Hi everyone, this is just kind of a quick overview of using Google Classroom. This is really intended for people who are switching from PowerSchool Learning and have not used Google Classroom in the past. So we will have more training in August for people who want some more tips and tricks for practices for collecting work and grading work and retrieving it. But this is just kind of the basics as far as the setup goes and for how to use Google Classroom. So as most of you have heard, PowerSchool Learning is going away. They're ending that program this summer. So everyone will be using Google Classroom to collect work next year. So these are the things I'm going to cover here: creating a class, adding students, archiving a class, the stream versus classwork, just kind of explaining the differences there, how you can create topics and posting homework there, how you can schedule assignments, and how you can reuse posts from other classes. So here, we'll start out with just how you create a class. So in August, you will just sign into Google Classroom. If it's your very first time ever, it'll probably ask if you're a teacher or a student, and you'll say teacher, or if you click here, plus it'll ask if you want to join a class as a student or to create a class. So you would just create class, and you can title this with the title of your course. You'll create a different one for each block. So I'll just say this is my A block. It's English and room 6204. And actually, one thing here for class name, it might be helpful to give it the year. So here, I'm just going to pretend this is going to be for next year. And so it will create. Okay, so it automatically comes to the new class. So this is kind of just the very basic first page here. I can add students in a couple of different ways. So one thing you can do is you can invite students to the class. You can send them this link, or you can add each student by email. I find the easiest thing to do is just to project this class code on the first day of school. I just put this on the screen. The kids all go to Classroom and type this in. I type in this code, and then you'll see that they'll start populating in this people section real quick, and it takes less than 2 minutes per class. I find that easier than trying to email them all a link, because most students won't really check it before school starts anyways. So that's how you create a class and add students. If you click these 3 lines and go back to classes, you'll see your list of all your classes here. And these are drag and drop, so I can move these around and put them in the order that I want. At the end of the year, what you want to make sure you do is just click these 3 dots and click archive. And that just clears it out of all your students' view here, so they don't see the class sitting there. It just kind of helps to keep it cluttered. You can always get stuff back from an archived class. Anything that you've archived, you can reuse assignments from there. But just at the end of the year, we'll send out a reminder that you should archive your classes. Okay. So next, once I'm within a class here, if I click on classwork, I don't have anything yet, but when you click to create an assignment, I'll just try to do that here. Quiz study guide, and let's just say I'm going to put in some info there and attach something here. But you can create topics, and this helps to keep your classroom organized. So I'll click create topic, and I'll just say this is for vocabulary. Okay. You can change the point totals here. Just as an example here, I'm going to make this ungraded, and then I'm going to assign it. So now the kids will see this is a topic, vocabulary, and anything that's under there will be that way. So if you're teaching something like an English class, you might do a different topic for each book you're teaching. If it's for math, it might be for each new unit or lesson or topic or whatever. But these topics just help to keep it organized. And then I'll show you in one of my existing classes, I post the agenda and homework every day. And if I zoom this out a little farther, yeah, you can see the list of topics here. So I always just keep the agendas and homework right here at the top, because you can drag these around. If a student misses class, they're able to click on this and see what we did during class and then what their homework is. But so that's just probably the easiest way to post homework for next year. So the kids can see every day what they did. If they leave early for sports, they could see what was done in class, and then they'll see what the homework is. So when you first come in, you'll see there's two different things. There's a thing called the stream, and then there's the actual classwork area. The stream can be used for like notification. I could just type something in here and say, remember your soundtrack project rough draft is due tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions. And if I post this, it just becomes like an announcement in class right here on the stream. It's not that much different from emailing them, so some people may find this useful and some people may not. But you'll see that they also have a little notification here in the stream from what homework is assigned and other material that you've put out and stuff like that. You can kind of customize this for what comes up in the stream. If you don't want every assignment to pop up here and you want this to be more like just info about the class, you can do that. But the classwork tab is really where they see all of the actual work that they're doing, okay? So like right now we're doing Macbeth. So this is just some material for them. This was a video on Edpuzzle that they had to do. So the classwork is really where you're going to collect and see all the work that they're doing. Okay, so scheduling assignments and due dates. This is kind of the main use of Classroom. So I'm gonna get out of here for a second and just go back to my, this is this class I just made up. So let's say I wanna just create a new assignment, and I'm gonna say this is essay, let's say Macbeth essay. And I would type in instructions here, please follow the guidelines for the essay, blah, blah, blah. There'd be more there. Here, you can add a file from Google Drive. If you have like a template that you want them to use, you can add a link to like a website that they need to get information from or something like that. Add videos from YouTube. And then attach a new item. I'll say for this one, I'm actually going to create a new blank Google Doc, and I want all of them to write this in this document. So you just create it and title it. You could leave it blank here, or if you wanted to put in some kind of specific formatting in this document, you can do that. And we'll get into all that later on. I'm just really going to show you how you actually schedule the work. Now, this is one important thing. If I just leave it as they can view the file, they can't do anything with it. I'm going to change this to make a copy for each student, because I want every kid to get a copy of this document, and they're going to write it in there. I'm going to say, I'm going to create a new topic and call this Macbeth. Okay. The points, we'll say this one is actually worth 25 points. There's an option to add a rubric here. I'll explain that later. But then they actually just modified this recently, so you can post assignments to multiple blocks at the same time. So I'm going to click this little drop down, and here I'll pretend I want to schedule this for several different classes, all four of these classes, okay? And instead of assign, I'm going to click this little drop down, and I'm going to do schedule. Okay, and then now I get to say, when do I want it to actually publish for each class, and when do I want the due date to be? So for each class, I could say, I want this one to publish tomorrow at, we'll pretend I have this at last block. I'll say 2:25 p.m. And it's going to be due on, let's see, next Tuesday, let's say. And you can do a time if you want also, and then you can choose the topic. Now, if I want that to be basically the same for all of my classes, I could just click this, copy settings to all, and then it'll make everything the same due date, the same topic, the same schedule. But let's say, these are actually on gold day, so I'm going to switch this to the 5th at 10:15 a.m. and I'm going to schedule this one for the 5th at, again, whatever time, let's say 1 p.m. So this is fairly new that you can publish and post to all of your classes at the same time. You used to have to go into each individual block and reuse the assignment to schedule it. So this is really quite convenient. I'm going to cancel this because I don't really want this to post to all of my current classes, but that's how you schedule assignments. I'll save that in case I come back to this. Another thing that you can do that's really handy, this is both if you've taught the same class the year before and you know you have assignments in there that you want to use, or if you teach the same class as another person, another teacher, you can add each other as teachers and then you can share assignments between your classes. So this is a really helpful feature. So if I click create and I go down to reuse post, I could go to, let's say there was, a class I taught last year. This would have been, let's see. So my D block from last year. Okay, and I know that there was a, let's see, I know there was an assignment. Oh, here, this final assignment. I want to reuse this. I can click that, and I can click reuse. And all of the details will come up. All of the attachments I had will come up here again. Now, I would want to change these due dates, right, because they're different this year. But you could modify those. There's a rubric here that gets reused if you wanted to reuse that again. And then you just click here to schedule it. So it's really handy to be able to reuse this work from previous years, or like I said, from a teacher who teaches the same course as you. So again, I'm just going to save this for now. But so being able to reuse posts is something that I do a lot. If there's something I know I'm going to go back to from a previous year, or even if you want to modify it a little bit, it's helpful not to have to create everything from scratch every time. And so that's kind of the basics for how you use Google Classroom. Okay. Let's see, I don't have any students enrolled in this, but so once you have assignments posted on here, you would see, okay, which kids have actually turned it in, which kids are still missing it. If it's something that they've resubmitted, you'll see that. But so it makes it very quick and easy to see who's turned in what. As far as grading the work, you will still have to transfer the grades over to PowerSchool in order to be able to actually see the grades for them to be published to the families, but so that's kind of similar, I guess, to how it was before with PowerSchool Learning. So, but these are just the real basics of Classroom: creating a class, adding students, archiving classes at the end of the year, the stream versus the classwork, and then creating those topics. This will be one of the biggest things that's new for next year, is that everybody will be required to post the homework on Classroom because there's no other place to do that. And then scheduling assignments and reusing the posts are kind of the basics. One other thing to note is that every class is going to have a Google Sites webpage next year. That'll be really basic. It'll be kind of like what we had on PowerSchool Learning this year, with just the basic info about your class. That's where you'll post back to school night information a couple of weeks into the year. And you can have the calendar to your Google Classroom classes linked there. But the good thing is you won't have to post any homework to that on a day-to-day basis. So pretty much once you create it in August, September, you really won't have to go back to it throughout the year. It'll just be kind of a landing page for parents to get the basic info of your class. So Google Classroom will really be the place that we'll be assigning and collecting work. So we'll be doing more of these sessions coming up in the summer, in August. But in the meantime, if you have any questions with setting up your stuff, you can let me know. And I think I'm going to plan to do in August, probably after we have the new faculty on board, I think I'm going to do a Zoom where I will just create my classes for the year on Classroom in real time. And if people want to watch and follow along with that and kind of do their classes at the same time, you can do that. Okay? So as always, just email me if you have any questions. And thanks for watching.